because Selena can just rotate here.
Perez, he does have a sigil. He has his boots as well. This should be enough to get him out of harm's way, and he's going to be just fine early on. But that is the boots used quite early.
I like Selena blowing him a farewell kiss as he retreats out of the jungle there.
Good guy,
All
Selena.
right, so compositions. Humanist, let's get things going.
Let's do it.
You guys might not remember what was picked up, so let's run down the team comps real quick. Echo Fox locked in the Arden, Glaive, and Celeste. QUESO, they've got the Lyra, Samuel, and Idris. Now, what is interesting to me is the way Echo Fox is choosing to execute on this composition.
Okay.
They've actually put Irwin on the Celeste in the jungle, and they've got a lane Glaive, which is a very interesting call, and it's one that I don't entirely dislike. It certainly can skirmish with Idris a little bit more easily. That being said, the advantage that Celeste maybe would have had in lane is that, and in fact we've seen that matchup earlier on this weekend, is you can really push in the Idris and stop him from making plays. This tells me, right, that Echo Fox don't want to be passive. If they wanted to be passive, well, they could have done that just by building an Eve of Harvest first Celeste in lane. Instead, they've got a very quick rotating laner, as well as a lot of crowd control that's already coming out of the jungle. And they're going to hit early power spikes in levels on Celeste.
Right there, some early aggression, the afterburn. Keiko taking a whole bunch of damage, tries to avoid the core collapse, but will go down. First blood to Echo Fox.
Very nice job. I talked about aggression.
You sure
that was
did.
exactly what I was going for. Irwin, by being able to hit, for example, the overdrive on Helio quickly, right, is going to be able to rotate up, try and siege the turret. They've then got Glaive and Arden to set up picks on anyone that tries to deal with that push, or they can make rotations down and from a very safe distance mess with the jungle rotations of QUESO. So Echo Fox is a very proactive lineup. QUESO does too, but in a different way. They want straight up fights. You know, they want to try and pick a situation where maybe Samuel can abuse the ridiculous damage he has in the first couple of levels. If it gets to maybe 8 minutes and QUESO hasn't found a good fight, I think you got to back off a little bit, wait for a couple of more item spikes, just because the Glaive and the early level 8 Celeste are going to be doing some serious work.
Irwin making his way up from the jungle as QUESO started to apply a bit of pressure onto this tier 1 turret. It's going to be Slated just hanging out with Selena. A lot of babysitting happening up here in the lane early. And we do have, of course, 2 melee laners up here. I think Glaive, Idris, very burst-heavy heroes, of course, but Glaive a little bit more durable, a little bit more tanky. So when he commits into that fight, he should be able to survive a little bit longer, which means that Keiko's going to have to really take those perfect executions.
Not to mention, picking Glaive into an opponent's melee laner also makes it a lot easier to set up afterburns for your teams. You're not trying to afterburn deep into the opponent's side of the lane, maybe by their turret, to punch someone backwards. You're actually just able to hit the guy that's standing right next to you, halfway in the lane, all the way back to your turret. And that gives a lot of space for your team to make the plays happen. This is why you're seeing Mr. K-Cool actually play pretty far back, pretty passively when he's able. Divergent pass is going to be especially critical here, Humanist, because you really need the blink and not just the dash to get away from the dicey situations that Selena can set up for Echo Fox.
Irwin moving up. We have 3 looking for the afterburn. This is going to be Perez getting caught. Perez getting deleted out of the fall. Keiko, he's in and right back out. Dark Ghost moving forward and kiting right back. Just a machine gun of Malice and Verdicts coming out of this guy. Dark Ghost, very impressive thus far here. Making a lot of plays. Slata doing a good job to absorb the majority of the damage. You see Irwin helping Selena out here. Oh, nice dodge by Keiko. That afterburn could have spelled his demise. Dark Ghost in that drifting dark. A little bit of splash damage coming out. Slata, he's in a tough place. Look at Selena body blocking for his captain. You don't see that every day.
All right, so one thing to note here, Perez still has not had the opportunity to pick up a Fountain of Renewal. Slata, even before picking up any boots, did that. That's a big part of the reason why some of these fights are especially difficult for QUESO. You know, they are mismatched in items. With that being said, they want turret.
Keiko's onto the turret taking a lot of damage, but they traded it. It's Selena that goes down. That is not what Echo Fox were trying to accomplish. Irwin's there. The Helio's down. The basic attack. The Oblivion's going to put him to sleep. They've lost Dark Ghost. They're not going to lose anymore, and Perez will be able to heal up Keiko, although it looks like Keiko wants to go home.
Yeah, Keiko does have a decent amount of money in the bank, probably wants to pick up his first big item here. Oh, actually, he's diversifying his assets a little bit. He's going a little bit more into the offense pool, but he's also picking up some defense, which I don't dislike.
Okay.
After he gets back to lane and farms maybe one more wave, he's going to be close to that Sara Blade.
Right.
So it's not really too big a deal unless they fight literally this wave, or on his rotation to jungle shop, which is possible. I mean, Selena does have the opportunity to make something happen there. Irwin, even though you're picking up the jungle Celeste, is going for the Eve of Harvest this game first. Now that I do actually find quite interesting. I'm not sure I like it compared to the Frostburn. I think Eve is really great if you're in lane. It lets you push more and more easily and more safely. But also, you know, Frostburn, if you're playing this rotational style of composition from Echo Fox, I feel like it sets up for Slata to, you know, maybe land the big gauntlet because the person can't get out of range quickly enough.
Right.
It sets up for afterburns. These are all things that you're not getting with the Eve of Harvest. And the Eve, Irwin is unlikely to be taking the brunt of damage in these early game fights. Later, sure, but right now it's going to be Selena.
Not the afterburn Seleno's looking for. It's going to be a drifting dart moving forward. Selena very low, able to keep himself alive there, utilizing that fountain. But it will mean that QUESO is going to have a significant advantage having the Lyra and a fountain of their own.
Yeah, this is a good situation for QUESO if they want to push in more, and obviously they did some great damage to that turret earlier on, so they have the ability to. Selena,
Selena getting out the way, back, toss him down. They're going to take the turret as well, Jackson. The Oblivion blocked off. Irwin's getting back one more, and then guys, the fadeaway there with style.
Very nice execution from QUESO. Very, very solid stuff. I'm impressed by the fact that they were able to get both those kills. Perez having the presence of mind to just commit to that perk attack.
Presence of mind.
I like that one a lot.
Thank you.
All right, QUESO, though, they're going to be backing away here. Goldmine not on the cards. You know, they spent most of their time bonus, as it were, where Echo Fox was back at base, respawning, to actually push a turret, which I think is probably a better decision. But now QUESO, with this first turret unlocked, we talked about this a lot in game number 1, do have a lot of pressure on the map, can start to make some more plays. I want to see Perez pick up some more scout traps. He's got 2 right now, and actually putting 1 in that mustache bush. The mustache, you can get scout traps in the mustache bush normally. I want to see some in the tri-bush. I want to see some by that front tram.
Yeah, and yesterday I was talking with Fuji that we saw a lot of very interesting scout traps coming out in unpredictable positions, maybe not revealing what's happening in the brush, but revealing rotations. Those can be incredibly important.
Absolutely. So, since we last spoke about his items, Mr. Keiko has unlocked the Divergent Paths, part of his heroic perk. Is a weapon carry that's going to give him a blink instead of a dash. Now, I mentioned earlier on that it's very useful in lane against Selena, but also in our pregame many years ago, it was also something that I mentioned as being very good against the Celeste, and it really is, because you're able to get out of those core collapses at, you know, just the drop of a hat rather than potentially being caught on your way out. That can be the difference between winning or losing a fight. So now Team QUESO do have a big power spike here, and they're abusing it very effectively, going for the gold mine, forcing perhaps a reaction out of Slata here. He's got to be careful.
I like the Bright Boar coming down preemptively out of Perez. He's really in the zone here, just making sure there was no opportunity for Slata to get in there and potentially steal that away from them.
Yep, really solid stuff there. We are seeing the Poison Shiv now picked up for Selena as his second item. He's already got the Sara Blade and going for an Infusion too. Now this does spoiler a little bit what Echo Fox is trying to make happen here. Ideally, they would like to pick a fight off the back of that Poison Shiv power spike and use that Infusion to really hammer home that opportunity. But at the same time, one of the best things about these infusions is you can sell them back for full price. If they don't find a good opportunity, then they will be able to recoup that expense.
I would never sell my infusion, Jackson. It would be a shame. Slata doing a good job once again. He's tanking up the Malice Verdict for his team. You see just a little bit, and the pace is slowed down a touch here. But these fights could be blown wide open. I'm looking for a big gauntlet to come out of Slata here in the near future. Now they do have the Lyra, of course, and she can throw that Arcane Passage to pull her whole team out. Also, we saw yesterday, sometimes it backfires and throws your whole team into the gauntlet.
That is a very dicey situation when it happens, but at the same time, you don't mind being in close quarters, really, but as Team QUESO. You know, you want to stick on top of Irwin especially to try and get that damage down. Selena, a large part of the job of the Glaive in this comp actually to protect Irwin, but here comes the fight.
There's your Afterburn. It's going to be a reflex out through the gauntlet. Another one as well. That's the Crucible, but it's Idris right into it. Keiko finding a lot of damage. They're on the chase. Drifting Dark. Then Power Malice and Verdict is splashing. A nice core collapse. Solar Strike coming through. Irwin kiting back. Irwin, can he be the god that they need? Irwin will fall. Can they train Mr. Keiko down? They've got Keiko. 1-for-1. Slata. He needs to get himself out of here on a sliver of hell. A second Drifting Dark. They splash the damage through. They probably take the Crystal Sentry as well off the backside of this one. Team QUESO finding another good fight. Selena's here. What's the play, Jackson? Does he get it? He goes for the Afterburn. He's on the Dark Coast. Huge damage. This Glaive, he has the crit damage if he can stay there. He's trying his best to protect that Crystal Sentry and will go down. Dark Coast finds the Malice and Verdict.
1. He's got it again. Oh, he's not going to go for it, though. I like that. I like Selena playing it kind of safe there. I was a little surprised, but still, Team QUESO, they get a lot off the back of that play, finding themselves that sentry. Let's have a look at a replay here. You can see already Echo Fox was quite low when the hard commit came in from QUESO. And even though Irwin had an opportunity to turn and burn, I don't think he should have taken it there. He put himself in range of Dark Ghost, got taken very low during the Solar Storm channel, and you know, there's still a lot of sustain left on the side of QUESO. Mr. K-Cool didn't even really feel that play until later when he fully committed onto the back line. So QUESO continuing to take small edges over Echo Fox here. Echo Fox with that Celeste especially really do need to push this game kind of later. It's going to be hard to do that as QUESO keeps forcing the advantage in, keeps pushing the wave and trying to make these opportunities happen. I
would expect Echo Fox to continue to fight around the cooldown on this gauntlet. It's going to be coming up in a few seconds here. As QUESO push forward, they have to be careful that they don't put themselves into a bad position.
All right, well, they might be in that one right now if they're not careful. Good use of the speed.
Okay, pretty nice gauntlet, but they're all out. I mean, these guys just walking through walls here. Don't even care, basically ghost at this point.
Very solid stuff from QUESO again. They might have actually just been timing that cooldown, to be honest. It's not that difficult to have an understanding of when Gauntlet's going to come up. It's pretty long cooldown.
When Slata uses boots to get past you, that's a positioning advantage. You're like, okay, bro, you might as well have just texted us.
Yeah, pretty much. QUESO, though, off the back of that Gauntlet being burned for naught, have a real window of opportunity here, Humanist. They can continue to make these pushes happen and not have to feel at particularly large risk. Selena is the one who can really punish if maybe a reflex block is missed. So keep your eyes on him. Bright Bulwark anticipates that.
Yeah, but now they have the opportunity to go in, and go in they do. It's Darkos taking a whole bunch of damage. They'll force the Fountain out. QUESO on the retreat, kiting backwards, doing a good job thus far. See if they actually get baited into this one. I mean, not only the Fountain, but of course this Lyra time and time again healing.
Yeah, but Fountain is now on cooldown for Perez, so Team QUESO only has that Imperial Sigil. Positioning is going to be important. You got to make it easy for your Lyra to make it easy for you. As they say, Dark Ghost is going to find a turret. In the meantime, though, Slata also very low. Team QUESO are playing this very smart. You know, it's kind of a war of attrition. They're not really pushing too far at any point. They're just making sure that they abuse the Imperial Sigil heal to find windows so that they can make things happen. Even with a Fountain, I understand why Slata didn't want to try and actually fight that. It is a dicey situation. There was a lot of bursts on the side of QUESO, and at this point with Dark Ghost having a broken myth, once he's stacked up the way that he had in that siege, you can't really commit unless you have a similar situation on Irwin, but he doesn't have his broken myth yet. It's coming up soon, but he needs to get it ASAP.
He does need to get that, and that's a huge damage burst for him. But the thing is, going back to what you said originally about Frostburn, I mean, I think that would be a huge tool for his team. That's not going to be coming out for a long time.
But he's Jungle Celeste. He needed to get that first if he was going to get it in the first, like, 2 items. Right, because your second has to be Broken Myth.
Has to be.
We've talked about this. In fact, in the Scarf game, we were talking about this. If you put yourself in a position where you're jungling a mage, you just don't have enough gold to have the luxury of all of those utility items. You need to have certain core ones. The Broken Myth is absolutely one. Certain characters are going to want, like, a Shattered Glass, like a Batiste. So
there's the Gauntlet over the wall. Selena taking a whole bunch of damage. They do get the healing out. Keiko, he's onto the flesh. Shimmer Strike over the top side. Keiko's there. The Solar Storm ripping through. He's got him. Keiko's got him. QUESO taking out Echo Fox. Perez kiting back. Another Shroud Step. A nice afterburn. Selena with a double kill. Darkos, can he find the kills he needs? He's got one. Alice brings up the mark. The Corrupted Genius is there. The crit's coming through. A nice twisted stroke. Selena, he's got to dodge out these skill shots coming out of Darkos. Darkos has got him. That's the ace in QUESO, finding another team fight.
Man, that was close, though. QUESO could have ended up being the ones getting aced real easily if Selena had just been able to survive a little bit longer. If an afterburn was available, he could have picked up the kill. Let's have a look at a replay. You'll see what I mean towards the end with the energy. But off the back of this initiation, one thing which you got to keep your eyes on is that Selena was kind of in between both carries, unable to commit to either one of them. I think the decision needed to be to get onto the back line and actually try and take down Darkos or fully commit to keeping your Celeste alive. Didn't quite find either, and Darkos had a huge window of opportunity to actually make something happen towards the end. This 1v1 at the end, it really was strong stuff from both sides. Selena just couldn't quite do it, though, with the energy he'd burned already.
It's really nice plays out of Darkos, though. Just moving forward, kiting back, and of course, Malice Inverted. That is something that's pretty easy to predict where it's coming out of him, so a very nice job.
All right, QUESO now off the back of that fight win has a pretty substantial lead. They've got great pressure on the map as they had earlier, but what are they going to do with it? Fox, they're in a flanking position.
Echo Fox, they do have the Gauntlet. Are they looking for a play in Afterburn? The Gauntlet over the wall there. Three-man stun! Now moving forward, it's Mr. Cake will take the majority of the damage, but Selena drops low. Found out from both teams. Now Perez drops the Sigil to keep his team in fighting shape. Selena looks like he want to move backwards. They don't know where Selena is. Erwin trying to find the damage. The crit damage is there. Cake will a second Afterburn that will knock the Dark Ghost back and move forward. Another drifting dart coming out. Dark Ghost to power up. Erwin, he's down. They're looking Selena. The Malice not hitting, but the verdict is that Echo Fox are about to fall if this trend will continue. 10-6, 16 minutes in, Team QUESO.
QUESO have been doing a great job every single fight, back to back, managing to play in the exact right way. The key thing in that last fight was the fact that they took their time. You know, Mr. K-Cool didn't say, all right, I got jumped on, I guess I need to commit to Erwin because that's the main damage source. He said, all right, let's bail. Erwin's too far away. We're just going to wait until an Arcane Passage presents itself, and it worked very nicely there. Team QUESO, they find themselves the Kraken. This could be a game-winning push with only 3 turrets left and solid siege coming out of the Samuel. They got to try and find a window to pick someone if they want it to be, I think, the silver bullet to end the game here, though.
Is Europe about to take a series?
They might be. They might be humans.
Dragonborn! How you feeling down there, bud?
I see him. I see him.
He feels bad, man. All right now, Kraken marching down. This is the choke point turret. Of course, Celeste pretty good at taking this Kraken down. Team QUESO, they really need to play this smart. I hope they don't get too aggressive here. Drifting Dark Slade doing a good job the body block, but that Malice and Vern starting to stack up. He's got 7 broken mid stacks right now.
That's crazy.
Kraken's still very healthy, and Afterburn's going to knock Darkos back. The Gauntlet only catching here onto Perez. Keiko starting up the Solar Storm onto 2. Echo Fox finding the damage they need. Slade is in there, the crit damage down. Selena has it, and they overstayed their welcome there. Only 1 turret will remain, though.
What a way to reveal an Echo purchase. Man, that was a critical time for it to come through because the first Gauntlet just did not do quite enough. I got to admit, Echo Fox, off the back of taking down that fight, do have an opportunity here to take some pressure back on the map, get some vision down, and make it very difficult for QUESO to find another window here without maybe going for a Kraken. You can see here, the first Gauntlet is mostly dealt with, but when it comes in again, they've got nowhere to go, and Solar Storm is very easy to land when you're trapped between a turret, a Gauntlet, and the enemy Sanctuary.
Oh, it is so good. Echo Gauntlet could be one of my favorite abilities to combo up in the game.
It is really fun.
It really is.
All right, so QUESO, they're still in the lead. Let's not forget the fact that, you know, they did actually take down 2 turrets with that push, and only 1 is left standing for Echo Fox. They need to defend it, lest this series go the way of QUESO. I think, again, the way you do that, maintain strong vision. Look for opportunities to find picks. If you can, especially trying to find a pick onto Dark Ghost is very important here. K-Cool at this point has transitioned from being, you know, maybe the primary damage source to being the one that's setting up Dark Ghost for success. Got to keep your eyes on that. Infusion's picked up across the board for Echo Fox. They know they're going to have to fight soon, and Selena's on the front line. Yeah, he put some good damage out on the Perez. The Bright Bulwark's down. The Gauntlet will be pulled back. Perez getting launched up into the stun. They chopped it. He didn't even Fountain Jackson. Now Team QUESO have to retreat. Selena coming in from the bottom side, looking for a nice engagement angle. Selena has the Afterburn in 1 second. Who will be the target? He got the Vanguard to block off the Afterburn. Second Vanguard coming through, trying to boost him up. I think he echoed the Vanguard there, but they didn't want to chase underneath the turret. Oh man, that was the kind of pick I'm talking about. Great Gauntlet use there, but also the Afterburn syncing nicely with it. It actually stunned him back into the wall, so got stunned by the Gauntlet really again. I don't think he had a chance to do anything that fight. K-Cool gotta be careful trying to make the push here a little bit more difficult from Echo Fox. Dark Ghost does have some good damage, but it's a 2 versus 3. I don't know about this one. Up. The reflex is in there. Solar Storm comes too. Dark Ghost, what are you doing? Dark Ghost! He's hitting the Mr. K-Cool, Daddy K-Cool, feeling pretty proud right about now. And that's going to be game. QUESO's going to march down the lane, Jackson. Europe has just done it. What a play, 2 versus 3. Wow, having the cojones to make that one happen. I mean, Team QUESO. When I first saw K-Cool playing over in Europe, I thought this guy is the D'Enzio of Europe, making the plays right there, making the case.
making the QUESO for us.
Team QUESO from Europe, the first team this weekend to take a series as a European team from a North American one. They look ecstatic, and they should be. Incredible performance.
So proud. You see Alvaro moving up onto the stage. Congrats.